Hey, 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 it's Kimberly Kay, your host of the Mindluxe Podcast. For years, I believed what almost everyone believes, that money was something I had to earn, chase, struggle for, or somehow become worthy of receiving. I thought that if I worked harder, learned more, became more talented, or found the perfect strategy, then financial freedom would finally be mine. I even tried for several years before I knew any of these mindset hacks to manifest a lottery win, and obviously, I had zero success. Reality Transurfing completely overturned that belief. One of the greatest and hardest lessons I've learned is that money isn't the destination. It's a byproduct of the reality you occupy. Money exists in countless variations across the alternative space. There are lifelines where financial abundance is effortless, and there are lifelines where money always seems just out of reach. The question isn't whether abundance exists. Reality Transurfing teaches us that everything already exists. The question is, which version of reality am I tuning myself to? Most people spend their lives trying to force reality to give them more money, but force creates excess potential, and excess potential activates balancing forces. The harder you grip, the more reality seems to resist. I eventually figured out that I had to stop making money my goal. Instead, I made it my mission to consciously choose the lifeline where abundance was already a natural part of my reality. You do that by choosing the things that are meant for you and listening to your intuition. I gave myself permission to have and stepped into the state of having. Having feels very different from wanting. Today, I don't see money as something I have to create. I see it as energy that naturally accompanies a reality where I'm living in harmony with my soul, following my own path, and allowing outer intention to do what it does best. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make is believing that lack comes from their bank account. It doesn't. Being broke begins in the mind long before it ever appears in the wallet. Imagine walking into a jewelry store and seeing a watch that immediately captures your attention. You jump for joy. For a moment, you really enjoy it. You admire its beauty. You imagine yourself wearing it. You're appreciating its beauty in the present moment. Then your mind notices the price and jumps in with its very confident opinions that sound so annoyingly true and logical. I could never afford that. It's way too expensive. I'll probably never own something like this. That'd be a waste of money. Do you see that you instantly moved from one state to another? Wealthy to poor, having it to lacking it, experiencing wearing the watch to wanting the watch. Nothing externally changed for you, right? The watch didn't move. Your income didn't change. The world around you stays the same. But internally, you've created importance. Importance generates excess potential. Balancing forces respond. Instead of moving toward the lifeline where owning that watch feels completely natural, you've begun resonating with a reality where it remains forever out of reach. This is how we unknowingly choose scarcity. I did this for years. I've been an expert on scarcity mindset, but I've learned to respond differently now, with practice and intention. When I see something I genuinely desire, I don't react with disappointment. I acknowledge it with appreciation, like, I love that, or I'm putting that on my list, or, oh, I know what I'm choosing next. That watch is gorgeous. One of the greatest financial pendulums in society is the pursuit of security. People tell themselves they need more money so they can finally relax. But if we're honest, that day almost never comes. Most of us remain on the hamster wheel until we die. One of my dear neighbors worked until he was 72 and then passed away 6 weeks after he retired. Let's not do that. Someone earning $50,000 believes they'll feel secure at $100,000. Someone earning $100,000 thinks they'll relax at $2 million. A millionaire worries about becoming a multimillionaire. The target keeps moving. And honestly, the problem was never the amount of money in the first place. Pendulums would love for you to keep believing this, though. The problem was the state. For a long time, I believed money would create security, hence my desired lottery win. Now I know the opposite is true. Security creates money. Isn't that an annoying truth? Can't we just win the lottery already? Ha! If your dominant state is, I don't have enough, you continually broadcast that script into your mirror. Your attention stays fixed on shortages. Fear narrows your perception, and creative ideas disappear. You overlook opportunities that would have been obvious if you were allowing your intuition and outer intention to lead the way. We all know about the mirror world, right? The watch didn't move, your income didn't change. The world around you stays the same. But internally, you've created importance. Importance generates excess potential. Balancing forces respond. Instead of moving toward the lifeline where owning that watch feels completely natural, you've begun resonating with a reality where it remains forever out of reach. This is how we unknowingly choose scarcity. I did this for years. I've been an expert on scarcity mindset, but I've learned to respond differently now with practice and intention. When I see something I genuinely desire, I don't react with disappointment. I acknowledge it with appreciation, like, I love that, or I'm putting that on my list, or, oh, I know what I'm choosing next. That watch is gorgeous. One of the greatest financial pendulums in society is the pursuit of security. People tell themselves they need more money so they can finally relax. But if we're honest, that day almost never comes. Most of us remain on the hamster wheel until we die. One of my dear neighbors worked until he was 72 and then passed away 6 weeks after he retired. Let's not do that. Someone earning $50,000 believes they'll feel secure at $100,000. Someone earning $100,000 thinks they'll relax at $2 million. A millionaire worries about becoming a multimillionaire. The target keeps moving. And honestly, the problem was never the amount of money in the first place. Pendulums would love for you to keep believing this, though. The problem was the state. For a long time, I believed money would create security, hence my desired lottery win. Now I know the opposite is true. Security creates money. Isn't that an annoying truth? Can't we just win the lottery already? Ha! If your dominant state is, I don't have enough, you continually broadcast that script into your mirror. Your attention stays fixed on shortages. Fear narrows your perception and creative ideas disappear. You overlook opportunities that would have been obvious if you were allowing your intuition and outer intention to lead the way. We all know about the mirror world, right? Your projector keeps showing you evidence that confirms your beliefs. This was really hard for me to accept for a long time. I came from a family that was very focused on accomplishment, work ethic, and achieving success through effort. We probably all did to some extent in our society. After discovering transurfing, I contemplated my life up until that point. I had to admit, life had always supported me. No matter what challenges I faced, I did always have enough. Sometimes it was barely enough, and not everything I wanted. But I had enough food, shelter, support, and so on. I was still here and kicking and was doing okay. This helped me dissolve one of my deepest fears. Life has actually always supported me. Why would it suddenly stop? Then I got to the end of the book, and Vadim says that the whole world is for you. I decided to believe that wholeheartedly, and I suggest you do the same. This helps me every day to stop projecting fear into my future. I let go of that constant fight for survival and worked on projecting security and freedom into the mirror. One of the biggest mental shifts I made was realizing that money should circulate, not be worshipped. I used to react emotionally every time money left my bank account. I paid bills with resentment and complained about the price of everything. I mentally subtracted all of my purchases, and it felt like an ever-shrinking supply of money that was never enough. Now I see money transactions differently. When I pay my electric bill, I don't focus on the money leaving. I focus on the abundance of electricity I'm receiving. I click the online pay button or receive the email saying the auto deduct came out of my bank, and I feel appreciation for electricity, clean water, internet, groceries, and everything else. Every payment is energy continuing its circulation. Energy isn't designed to be imprisoned, it's meant to move. Just as water continually flows through a river, money naturally flows through our lives as it should. I've also become much more intentional with the language I use. I don't think this is talked about enough. Instead of saying, I have to earn money, I prefer to think in terms of creating value. I spent quite a bit of time examining my internal dialogue. I used to say things like making ends meet, trying to get rich, pinching pennies, running on fumes, living paycheck to paycheck, and so on. I changed those by interrupting that pattern whenever I could catch it and replacing those words until it became automatic. I changed making ends meet to expanding my cash flow. I changed pinching pennies to circulating my wealth. I changed running on fumes to magnetizing revenue. I changed from living paycheck to paycheck to receiving money in continuous waves. I no longer earn money. I receive compensation for my brilliance. I don't pay bills. I circulate my abundance. You get the idea. This language helped me change my state to one of abundance and fun. I don't take money so seriously anymore. These new words and this new way of thinking reflects a new script I'm living. This may be the single most important lesson reality transurfing has ever taught me. Money doesn't come because you chase it. Money follows value. Value follows purpose. Purpose comes from the unity of heart and mind. Most people reverse the order. I know I was. I was asking questions like, what job pays the most? What business makes the most money? What niche is trending? I was always following someone else's door. Sometimes I would work as much overtime as possible to pay off my credit card. This helped me accumulate a few $1,000s at a time, but always at the cost of hours of my freedom and the joy of my soul. That's not abundance. That's a sick dependency on a pendulum. If you've listened to my 90-day experiment episode, you know this only changed for me after I started following my intuition and asking what my soul genuinely wants to do. Everything changed for me after that. I got a new job that I was totally unqualified for. Well, turns out I got great at it and loved it. Without listening to my instincts, I wouldn't have even considered clicking on that job posting. I literally didn't know what the job title meant. The work was enjoyable, and ideas and new knowledge flowed to me effortlessly. People appeared at the right moments to help me, and new opportunities always came at the right time. Outer intention started arranging circumstances that my logical mind never could have planned. The money became a consequence of this. That first job was $20,000 more per year than I ever made in my life, and it only got higher from there. When my heart and mind aligned, I stopped trying to grab reality and force it to my will. I began trusting and allowing outer intention to figure it out for me. I learned that real prosperity is a mindset and a state that you live in. I don't mean to imply that your grand purpose in life is one career or master goal, by the way. It's just an energy that you bring into the world. Perhaps your soul wants to express beauty, teach, or heal. Maybe your heart is excited about adventure, freedom, humor, innovation, leadership, or something tiny like world peace. The essence of your heart's desire can appear through dozens of different careers, creative paths, hobbies, passions, and doors over a lifetime. The form will continuously morph, evolve, and expand. That's our nature. We aren't stagnant beings. When you courageously align with your highest calling and offer your unique value to the world, you create an irresistible magnetic pull. I promise you, the money won't just find you, it'll eagerly track you down to fund your expansion. Everything I've shared sounds philosophical, but I've found that abundance is built through very practical daily habits. They must be practiced consistently. Every day, I consciously observe my state because my state determines which lifeline I resonate with. When I notice fear or doubt or some other negative emotion, I don't fight it. I wake up and become aware of it. Awareness wakes me from the waking dream. Then I deliberately return myself to coordination instead of reaction. I also practice reducing importance. I hold my goals lightly, reminding myself that my mind doesn't know the way. I know exactly what I intend to experience, but I don't cling to the timing or the method. Outer intention always sees possibilities that surprise me. I love this part. Another habit is consciously directing my projector. Instead of worrying about upcoming bills, I repeatedly return to the reality where abundance is already normal. A quiet certainty that things always work out for me. The world is for me. If the world is for me and everything is to my advantage, what do I have to worry about? Chill. I've also learned to celebrate every sign of abundance. Discounts, new clients, ideas, helpful conversations, perfect timing, they all go in my gratitude journal. Yesterday, I cleaned out my pantry and found 4 bags of the same rice, an abundance of rice to celebrate and share with others in need. I choose to see every one of these as evidence that I'm moving on to a more favorable lifeline and that things are constantly getting better and better. Acknowledging these signs strengthens my coordination with reality. You get to decide what things mean. Give these little signs big positive meanings. It's a fun game. Looking back, I realized that I spent years trying to manipulate reality into giving me money. I got my first full-time job when I was 15, and on day 1 of my 90-day experiment with transurfing, I was a mature adult. Where did those decades of effort, struggle, and hustle get me? Broke, stressed out, and hopeless most of the time. If I can figure this stuff out, I promise you can do this too. The summary of all this is that reality doesn't need to be forced. It only needs to be chosen. Drop the focus on money, and then you'll receive it. Let go of fear and scarcity and watch your opportunities multiply. Kick pendulums to the curb and follow your own heart's path to joy and success. I realize that this is all fine and good as a philosophy, but terrifying to put into practice. But the less emotionally dependent I became on money, the more naturally it began flowing into my life. Today, I know for absolute certain that wealth isn't created by working harder than everyone else, or possessing extraordinary talent, or endlessly chasing more dollars. It grows from a particular state of being. When I reduce importance, and when I trust outer intention, follow my own door, and maintain the unity of heart and mind, and consciously choose the lifeline I wish to experience, abundance becomes the natural consequence. It isn't the objective or the frantic pursuit that it used to be. It's a delightful side effect. This is Mindluxe. I'm your host, Kimberly Kay, and I'll see you on the next Lifeline.
Stop seeking, start occupying, external world lagging. Mindluxe is the lead, I'm driving. Mindset exhaust, it's the main asset. Start thriving, don't wait for windfalls. I engineer breakthroughs, no more dumpster diving. Upgrade the hardware, watch reality reboot. High value assumptions create high value pursuits. Evict the old you, step in the